So at this point, I had booked a hotel, and I was going to go see a 1975 Mustang II, one that's run in the family for a very long time. And I'm trying to tell you about it, but the audio quality was absolutely atrocious. So here, I'm just telling you, it's a crazy day ahead. I'm getting ready to head out there and see this car. It's been sitting outside for a very, very long time. So let's get to it. So I got there, and I was just trying to give you a quick clip of what was going on.
Chicken's right over there.
And telling you there's literally chickens right over there right next to the car, and it smells quite bad. But I'm not a farm person, I'm not an animal person as far as all that kind of stuff goes. So I didn't like the smell. But you can see it's been sitting out quite some time, and the engine is stuck. So here I'm starting to get some stuff done, and then bam, here's where we're at.
We're attempting to heat it up. Trying to get these pistons to move. They say fireworks. We'll see. So far it's stuck up still, even after all that. See my giant bar I have on the crank. I have a socket coming in the next few days that goes straight on the crank, and you can use it to turn it over without stripping or pulling out the bolt. I have to pull off this whole entire pulley right here, and then instead of being on a bolt, I'll actually be on the crankshaft. It slips over the keyway and everything. Anywho, but here's the starter I got pulled apart. It's pretty dirty inside. It wasn't turning over, which is why I couldn't bump it or anything. Tried hitting it with the battery, and it just threw sparks everywhere. So we're gonna go to the auto parts store, get a hold of some cleaning stuff, clean the solution, and then we're gonna go and clean this out.
So yeah, that didn't work. I actually had to wind up going and getting a new starter. So I installed that, and it worked pretty well.
Here's our socket that's specifically made for the crank pulley. Watch this. You probably can't see much, but it's moving. Like the whole engine, but these pistons are popping loose. If you can't tell, it used to be higher in the bore. There we go, just moved again. I'm gonna work on this and get this thing freed. So we're up under the cart, and I'm over here removing the torque converter nuts and whatnot. And I did find something interesting. There's a smiley face, a kind of weird looking smiley face on the bell housing. So that's great to have on your bell housing. Fun stuff. But yeah, it's pretty oily down here from all that lube I had to spray on it. Besides that, everything doesn't look too bad. We'll get some better shots in the sunlight of this thing at some point. But man, it is greasy down here. We got to pull out this transmission and get the torque converter out, because when I go to crank this thing over, it's making a banging noise. Because this, you probably can't see it, but way deep in there, there's a weight. You can almost just barely make out that square right there. But there's a weight on the flywheel, and it's swinging around and smacking the shield, and it's not supposed to do that. So either the wrong torque converter's in here or it didn't get installed right. So we're getting ready to pull that out and figure it all out. So, you know, it's fun. There's some, as they say, some custom wiring. Everything is professionally installed so that it doesn't work. That's gonna be great. Here we go. Oh, wait a minute. I took all the bolts out, right? Right? Pretty sure. Oh. Oh. I see. Torque converter is not coming with us. That's bad. It's unbolted. I mean, for realsies. That's great. Great. Well, there's exhibit A of our problems. Let's see what happens here. It's just lifting it by something random. I'm actually starting to lift this chair over here. Apparently it's too close to that. I don't even know what we're touching. What are we touching? The diff, apparently. I mean, it's a valid jacking point. Definitely not where she needs to sit, though. It's literally just resting back there on the differential. Let's not do that. All right, here we go. You can see I got some much thicker spacers under there. These are truck adapters with the extra length on them. Making great sounds, that's fine. Solid though. Hopefully we're not bending things too much. Yep, that's pressed into the car quite a bit. Great. Let's put that back down and move it a little bit over. That's gonna be great. Trying to knock that out of the bodywork later. If I'm honest, this is like the 4th time I've lifted this thing. You need to come out. Like, try. Got good news and I got bad news. Good news. The converter is unsplined. Although it's extremely impossible to see, and no one could ever see it even if they tried. They're actually not lined up right now in there. There's a bit of a mismatch because this torque converter is still stuck in the flywheel. Flex plate. So, something interesting. It just kind of decided at some point after jamming it back and forth that the torque converter was okay with coming out. And it just kind of popped forward and fell in the housing, and after that, it came right on out like it was supposed to. Now, something interesting. You're going to hear this little shim in the back between the transmission and the engine. It's, the weight is hitting it right now because it's loose. However, watch this. You can hear that terrible noise, but the engine is turning over beautifully with just a hand ratchet. Very, very, very easily. No problems whatsoever. So our engine is good now. Now we need to figure out what in the world happened with this transmission. What's going on with the torque converter. I think that's where we'll start. Let's get this thing out of here. First step, let's raise this bad boy. Now we can only raise it so much. We gotta watch out for this hood. Only got a little bit more over here. And bam, that's all of it. But now, look at that. She's gonna come right out. Oh yeah, this is gorgeous. Now let's run these numbers in this transmission, and see what's going on here, man. So here's the problem. I don't think it was seated all the way. Now, if you look at it, the bolts go beyond this by, I don't know, probably half an inch. And then the bolts stick out another half an inch. There's probably an inch there. I have to measure the flywheel, see how much it sticks out. But I'm going to guess that that is actually going to be exactly what we want. Great. So here's the problem. I think since everything was bolted down so tight, the pump is probably damaged. Torque converter looks okay. Spins over good, clicks in alright. I pushed my fingers in there and was able to spin the one gear, and it spins one way and not the other. And I hear that's how it's supposed to be. So I think that's okay. What I need to do is pull this back out, unbolt this bell housing probably, and look up a YouTube video about how to pull this pump apart and inspect it. It's probably fudged up beyond repair. So, great. Any whoosies. Let's go ahead and get to that. I should say this is the pump. Very carefully. We're gonna get this bad boy off here. All right. Use an impact, but you know, very gentle touch, you know. Or at least doing a star pattern, whatever. Doing something, okay? Alright, now this should... Oh, there we go. There we go. Now, before I get too crazy with this, there's a chance this might only go in one way. I do not know which way that is. So I'm going to take a picture of this exactly as it is. Real quick. Alright, got my picture. Here we go. Boop. Perfect. That's the inside of the pump, I guess. What I mean, I guess. It's most certainly the inside of the pump. It could be anything else. Believe me. Here's the flats. That thing rotates on. These gears look gorgeous. You see this X here? Corresponds to that dot. That's a witness mark, so that nobody screws it up. You can see right here, at the very edge of these teeth, there's a little scar going from here to here to here to here to here. And that's probably where this thing got tightened down and didn't have clearance. Now, I will say, these gears look gorgeous. There's nothing wrong with them whatsoever. That little mark that I have there, that little scar going across the tops means nothing. Honestly, is that just the deburr mark? That might not even be something I did. That might just be from it existing. Try to get that X. Here we go. I think that's, yeah, there it is. Right? No, it's not. Crud. I'm trying to get this X to line up again with that dot. Apparently it was only that one time. I don't know if it's ever going to happen again. Maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. Let me catch up on a couple more videos, make sure I'm disassembling this thing properly. Looks good so far. So, here's what we got, folks. If you look in there, there's a little bit of kind of like a galling going on with this bearing. Very slight. It's nothing major. And in fact, that probably happened before we even got here. That's probably been there for a long time. That's from this thing turning over and probably getting bound up a little bit on something. Anywho, that's needing to be replaced, and that's it. These gears look beautiful. The pump looks super clean. No damage or issues. So we're just going to order some new parts, put a new gasket on here, press in a new brass bushing for right here. And once this new brass bushing is in, we can reassemble this guy, put the torque converter back on. It feels really good. Everything spins the way it's supposed to. And then bolt this transmission back in the Mustang. We'll be good to go. So, hoorah. Let's go, man.
So I did get it all back into the car, and everything's pretty much together, but we need to hook up some transmission lines. And then after that, that's more or less, it's ready to start and pop off. I started to try to crank it over, but I had the firing order messed up, and then I realized the lines weren't there. So now, yep, that's where we're left off, and if you're interested in hearing or seeing more, let me know in the comments, and we'll go from there. All right, peace out.